So here we have the Jaguar F-Type Predator. This car actually left the factory as an all-wheel drive V8R running 550 brake horsepower. After work now she's running 670 brake horsepower on normal running, or nearly 700 brake horsepower running with water meths. So let's talk a little bit about some of the modifications that we've done to this particular vehicle. The conversion package on this vehicle really breaks into two separate components: the styling parts and the going really fast parts. So first of all, let's take a look at the styling parts on this particular vehicle. You'll notice straight away the front of this vehicle looks quite different from most of the Jaguars you'll see on the road. The front nose cone on this vehicle actually is closely modelled on the Project 7 vehicle, and it's taken the very, very large open nose cone area from that vehicle. And that's because we want to get as much air into this vehicle as we can. This vehicle is running nearly 700 brake horsepower, and we do want to keep it cool. So these large open air intakes are very, very useful. So not just stylish, but actually functional too. Some of the other components on this particular vehicle that we've added, these carbon fibre bonnet vents, very, very nice, shiny, blingy bling. Got the carbon fibre wing mirror covers here, the side vents. You'll see these lovely long carbon fibre side sills. These are all made from real carbon fibre, handmade, finished in a high gloss finish to give that really lovely, sexy look and feel to the vehicle. What you may not have noticed is these particular wheels. Believe it or not, these wheels are carbon fibre wheels. Incredibly unusual, very, very lightweight. The drum of this wheel weighs just 2.3 kilograms, significantly lighter than the alloy equivalent. And what you feel on the road is not only is it lighter, but the handling is dramatically improved, road noise is reduced, and they just feel somehow tighter and firmer. We'll move around a little. You'll notice on the rear this rather large wing spoiler. Looks rather stylish, closely modelled on the SVR version, but it's bigger, it's taller, it's wider, and it's because this vehicle is running so much brake horsepower. This isn't just a nice functional part, it really does add the extra downforce we need. This car is D-restricted, capable of running well up to 200 miles an hour, so we do want to be getting that extra downforce. You'll also notice, of course, the rear diffuser. Again, this is a part designed, manufactured by us here in the UK. Adds extra downforce across the back, quite a striking see, and you'll see we're sporting 4 of our jet fighter tips on this particular exhaust system here, which really gives quite a deep, meaningful look and sound to the vehicle. I'm sure you agree. This is absolutely fabulous on this car. Now this is set on the loud setting. Of course we can deactivate the valves and make it a little bit quieter, but on a beautiful day like this, the sun is out, it's a lovely autumn day, herring through these country lanes, it's just truly magical. We have 2 different sound level exhaust systems for the F-Type. The first one being the Sport system, which is a nice loud burbly system, and the other system is the Super Sport, which frankly is bloody loud. Effectively, when the exhaust valves are open on the Super Sport system, we are actually talking about a straight through exhaust system. So it bypasses virtually all of the silencing in the rear box and gives a lovely deep straight through burble of the V8. And with this little device we can see just what the difference is. So let's run a test. So as well as the outright styling parts, what else have we done to this vehicle? Well, she's lowered by 30mm, and that isn't just a case of looking pretty, but actually they're lowered, toughened springs. So this stops the body roll and makes the vehicle feel much more certain when on the road, particularly when driving, shall we say, enthusiastically. As well as that, we've upgraded the poly bushes on the vehicle. So these are the rubber bushes. Believe it or not, there's 24 pairs of these bushes across the vehicle, being roll bars and wish bars, both front and rear, adding up to a total of 24 bushes in all. We changed these from the soft, slightly squidgy factory bushes to much firmer ones. Now, we don't go for the crazy firm track day ones because they make this vehicle really quite harsh and rather nasty on the road. So the middle of the road firm bush is what we go for, and we find that it really does make the vehicle go around corner on rails, but without giving you that harsh back-jolting nastiness of a drive. So good compromise, great steering, great performance. So let's talk about performance next. This vehicle is now running nearly 700 brake horsepower, yet it left the factory with just 550. So how have we achieved that? Well, there's lots of different components that make up that performance package. So let's take a look at some of those. We're going to start with the obvious one, the supercharger. The supercharger on this vehicle is manufactured by a company called Eaton Superchargers. It leaves the factory with Jaguar Land Rover's gear ratio of 14,000 RPM as a maximum RPM of the engine. Yet, in fact, Eaton rate this supercharger at 18,000 RPM. So there's a big gap there where we can actually have some fun, and that's exactly what we've done. How do we do that? Well, think of the supercharger in the same way as maybe a push bike. You've got a large crank gear that drives a smaller crank gear on the wheel. In this case, the wheel is the supercharger. The bigger the crank gear, the smaller the wheel on the supercharger, the faster it turns. So we can increase from knowing Eaton's own rating is 18,000 RPM, we can increase it from 14 to 18 by simply changing that gear ratio. What does that do? Make it go bloody fast. So a great comic book hero once said, with great power comes great responsibility. And actually this car leads itself very nicely to that saying. This car is fast. Like super fast. So there's nothing like it that I've ever experienced other than when you get to that top of that really big roller coaster and it launches you down and your stomach disappears. This car is so fast your stomach is regularly found in the boot. And that's good because the boot is really, really small and it's about all it can take. Fast is good, but it's always in the mind's eye, what is fast? How fast is fast? Well, a Fiat Punto driver tends to think that a Volkswagen Golf GTI is fast. A Volkswagen Golf GTI driver thinks a Porsche Twin Turbo is fast. A Porsche Turbo driver thinks a Jet Fighter is fast. Well, this is Jet Fighter fast, let me tell you. What are the statistics on this car? This car is sub 3 seconds 0 to 60. It's so fast it's actually quite difficult to measure. We've got it down to about 2.8 seconds. It'll do just over a 10-second quarter mile. This is real race car material. But because the software is so well written, it actually drives like a pussycat around town. The power comes in nice and smooth, and when you see the dyno charts you can see it actually is almost like a replica of the factory software. All that power just comes in a little bit sooner and just keeps going a little bit longer. But don't let me say when I say a little bit, it actually feels like an awful lot. The acceleration on this car is breathtaking. So how do we make all this power? Well, we've already talked about the supercharger, but what else do we do? Well, an awful lot of what we do, of course, is software based. People are often asked the question, well, if software is so easy to make cars go faster, why don't manufacturers do it? Well, of course, the truth is they do. This engine, this 5-litre engine, was originally launched in the Jaguar XKR 5-litre, running just 500 brake horsepower. It was quickly upgraded to run 520 brake horsepower, and later they did the XKR S and ran 550 brake horsepower. How are these changes done? Well, it's just software. And to take it a stage further was released was the Jaguar SVR. That vehicle runs 575 brake horsepower. Same engine, same injectors, same Eaton supercharger, all controlled simply by software. So when people ask why don't manufacturers do tuning, the truth is they do, but you normally have to buy a new car. So I hope you enjoyed our program on the F-Type Predator. You can get more information at VIEZU.com, or if you've got any questions at all, drop us an email at info@VIEZU.com or give us a call on 01789 77 44 44. All the packages and prices are available on the website. We offer full mail order service around the world, or if you're in the UK, come and see us. We can show you around and we can fit your system for you. Hope to speak to you soon.